away from me. You get away from me. Collected my belongings and I left the jail. Well, thanks for the time to think a spell. Had to think a while. Had to think a while. The ocean breeze salty, won't you carry it in your head, in your mouth, in your soul? And maybe we'll get lucky and we'll both grow old. Well, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I hope so. Well, that is that and this is this. You tell me what you want and I tell you what you get away from me. You get away from me. Collected my belongings and I left the jail. Well, thanks for the time, had to think a spell. Had to think a while, had to think a while.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay, maybe hold on a little bit, because we were just doing a full hour just on this episode, so it's just like I even episode.
Well, that is that and this is this. Will you tell me what you saw and I tell you what you missed when the ocean met the sky? You missed when time and life shook hands and said goodbye. When the earth folded in on itself. For your sake I hope you're really in heaven. Are you really there? Well, I won't hold my breath. You wasted life, why wouldn't you waste death? You wasted life, why wouldn't you waste death? The ocean breeze salty, won't you carry it in your head, in your mouth, in your soul? The more we move ahead, the more we're stuck in rewind. Well, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I hope so. Well, that is that and this is this. You tell me what you want and I tell you what you get away from me. You get away from me. Collect my belongings and I left the jail. Well, thanks for the time, had to think a spell, had to think a while, had to think a while.
I saw the trailer for Call of Wild when I went to see Cats, which I felt was appropriate. Of just that sort of gratuitous kind of, CG, which, by the way, I enjoyed the hell out of Cats. sure. Yeah. Yeah, we can get started.
I would say primer, but it's not.
Oh, there we go. There we go. I was just waiting until because I thought people were watching.
You really wanted to start my bit. I
Oh,
couldn't
okay.
commit to it. They were calling on their drive here.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, we'll just start.
Everybody showed up for the bride side.
Alrighty, starting the show now.
Woo! Retromon.
Must love Digimon.
Yeah, welcome to Must Love Digimon, everybody. How the hell you doing? Hello, Stab Comedy Theater. My name is Corey Behringer. I'm here with Cameron Betts, as always. Emma Haney isn't here with us. She's busy
Dead to us.
in Rockland, entertaining the good people of Rockland. But we do have a special guest who we will get to in just a little bit.
Absolutely. You know, but this is a great show.
Yeah.
You know why it's a great show? Because we're not talking about Digimon,
No.
which is the worst thing.
After last month, we did a special on fighting Foodons, and we had so much fun that time. We thought, hey, let's do another one-off sort of thing on another batshit insane cartoon from our childhood. Because at this point, titles mean nothing, and we're all going to die someday.
Yep.
So it's Must Love Digimon, but tonight, what are we going to call it, Cameron?
Must Monster Rancher Digimon.
Yes, because the show
Manson
we are going
Family
to
Digimon.
discuss is Monster Rancher.
Yes.
Do we have a picture of it?
Yes.
There we go.
Who has seen Monster Rancher? You played the
Okay, so we have a gamer in the house tonight. Okay, we got a gamer here. I never played the Monster Rancher game. Did you, Cameron? Did you ever play it?
I have a distinct memory of going to like a toy store once with like are you talking about the minifigure or the video game?
No, the video game.
Yeah, okay, well I collected the figures and
Different kind of dork. is
different
what he's
kind of
saying.
dork indeed.
Different kind of dork.
And I distinctly remember being so thrilled that I found the pack that has it had 30 figures in it, and it was super expensive. My parents bought it for me. I think it was my birthday, and I lost my shit. And I so remember the wave of excitement when I got in the car and I opened it and I had the little guys and
I
this is some real
understand that
shit.
feeling 100%.
I don't like where you're
because I
going.
had it with, and you're gonna hate this.
I don't like it.
I had it with Digimon.
Ugh.
I had a gigantic. Yeah, I got it at Toys R Us because for a Christmas I got a gift card or something. There's no way I would have had that much money to begin with. But I got this enormous box set of all the Digimon cards, and so I had all of them, and I loved it so very dearly.
Where are they now?
They're all gone. I mean, this was so many years ago.
Would you spend them on something?
No, I mean,
Did you blow them all in one place?
in different. I hung on to a lot of them for too long. But it just as it happens, you go through moves and stuff, and you lose your precious Digimon cards. Since then, I have tried to find them on the internet. They are quite expensive.
I will say that one of the greatest things about age and the internet is that all the things from childhood that I enjoyed, I can now just buy for cheap from anyone.
Yeah.
It's the greatest.
Oh, yeah.
My Instagram is 95% Keshi rubber figures and people making custom ones and selling ones. And I'm like, this is it. I've used the internet and it's for me and it's coming right to me.
Exactly.
I'm in a river of little minifigures.
That's frightening. But tonight, we're going to talk about the first episode of Monster Rancher, which was an anime adaptation of a video game series that was basically like a zoo-style game series where you're raising these monsters. I've never played the game, but I did watch a YouTube playthrough. Frankly, it seemed boring as shit. Like a very, very boring game.
I'm so excited to do a point-by-point breakdown of how this show ripped off Pokemon.
Did it
but
really,
no,
though?
it a billion% rips off Pokemon in so many very specific ways that I'm excited to talk about.
Okay. Well, before we dive into that, I think it's a good time to bring on our guest for the evening.
Yes.
He is a sensational stand-up comic, frankly, one of the most unique voices in the Sacramento comedy scene, and he's also a very dear friend of ours.
But I wrote
he's got a song.
I wrote a little song to bring
Should
him up.
I
That'll
say
be
his
song,
name
That'll be
first?
song number 2, actually.
Okay.
Jesse, song 2. I wrote a little song.
Non-linear. I like it.
I mean, you can come in from wherever you want.
By the way, it's him.
Just listening for the cue. Everybody be quiet. Oh, can you back it up and turn it up a little bit?
Can you back it up?
Shh. Well, I'm gonna stand under it one more time, baby. Crank it. We're doing this. I put all this effort into this fucking song. All right, one more time. So to reiterate, can't overstate how much I hate Digimon. Is life a mistake? But I'm excited to welcome Stephen Ferris to the stage.
It was worth
Go
it.
Sharks!
It was worth it. Steven, how you doing?
I'm a little buzzed right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did
Did
not
you get some
drive-
fresh air?
I got some
High on
fresh
life?
air. There's a little of that, sure, but what happened was I
Here we go, guys.
I didn't even need to ask.
I helped because this doesn't. I'm not normally like buzzed when I come out to a show, but I helped my sister and brother-in-law rebuild a fence between their house and their neighbor's house, and their neighbor helped too. And we didn't quite finish it, but we got pretty close. And then it got dark, and the neighbor was like, "Hey, do you guys want some beers?" And
And then you drank them.
yeah,
You drank
and
those beers?
I drank mine pretty quick, and forgot how much of a lightweight I am. And that was around 6, and then I was like, "Oh, I'll be fine," but I realized
I think you're fine.
I didn't realize that's an Indiana Jones hat. Like,
It
it's a
is.
branded hat. We were
Yeah.
talking about Indiana Jones earlier. You're fucking on
How
it,
long
dude.
have you had that hat?
probably a few years, and I think this might be the first or second time that I've worn it.
Nice.
Did you wear it because the movie's coming out, or did you just decide to?
I was like, I didn't even have time to take a shower, and I was like, I'm just gonna like throw on some like goofy stuff because whatever.
It's a
know?
comedy show.
Yeah.
All right.
Good.
Yeah, fair enough. So right down to business here.
All right.
Brass tacks, folks. Nothing? Okay, that's fine.
When you were walking into the building tonight to do this show, you were finishing the episode.
That's right. Yeah.
Burned in your mind.
So am I to assume you had no prior experience with this show before I asked you yesterday to do the show?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
I've never seen it before.
Never seen. Had
Right.
you ever like heard of it?
No.
I
Okay.
think we're cross-examining him. So you say you've never heard of it?
Good cop, bad cop.
Well, can I be good cop?
Only if I could be horny cop. So, what I'm curious of though is your like background when it comes to cartoons of this kind of era. If at all, like, did you watch any of these sort of shows at that time that they were coming out? Because you would have been, I'm assuming, maybe around like early teens.
When did it come out?
This was 99, 2000,
99?
around there.
So yeah, I would have been 17, 19,
Okay,
something
gotcha.
like that.
So
Yeah.
this, probably not on your radar.
No.
Yeah. What was your radar at the time? You sports guy?
No. If anything,
Big
just-
Fisherman?
No, like movies, and then like I'd watch music videos on MTV.
Why is that funny?
Because it seems so lame
Yeah.
now. And then the
I
thing,
don't think so. I grew
Okay.
up.
What's
I grew up
best?
watching music videos on because we wouldn't consistently have cable at our house, but when we
Yeah.
did, my dad would tape VH1 all day,
Okay.
so we would have like a log of
Oh,
music
wow.
videos to watch. So
Nice.
I totally get it. Like I
Okay.
love music videos and
Cool.
pop-up video. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
Pop-up video.
Yep.
I was too busy watching Max X.
Oh God, the worst. We're gonna do an episode on that eventually. So what did you think? Just at a glance, what did this show mean to you, Stephen?
I don't know. I'd have to contemplate it some more. I mean, I have been exposed to more anime because my mom got really into it. And
Please go deeper into
Yeah, go ahead and
that.
elaborate on that one.
Because Jesus Christ, that's interesting. Your mother is she currently into anime, or was this a phase that she exited?
She's not as big into it now.
How old was she at the time when she got into it?
Uh,
You can ballpark it.
well, she's 30 years older than me. Probably like 55.
That's
somewhere around
super
there.
cool.
Yeah.
I think that's super cool.
No. Just totally
I just
immersed
don't want to leave this for a moment because,
right.
like, what do you know? What her go-to show was?
Was it like a lot of Gundam and like a lot of like giant mechs?
Or was it more comedy stuff? Did she like the goofy shit?
That I don't know. You guys haven't said anything that rings a bell. Okay. There was one called Prince of Tennis that she kind of got me into. You've seen that? Okay. All right.
Enough to go.
I got into
you
it.
got a deep eye in there. Like, you were like thrilled. Someone said the magic word for the day.
But no, she totally got immersed into Japanese culture. She's learned Japanese. She writes kanji and all
really
that stuff.
interesting.
She goes to Japan once or twice a year.
What does she do for a living? Is she retired now?
Yeah, she's pretty much retired.
What did she do before?
To raise the kids.
Can we get her on the show?
Maybe.
That'd be cool.
I'll run it by her.
I want to know what she thinks about Digimon. Now I really need to know this.
All right.
Well, okay. So I guess this is a simple yes or no question. Did you like it? Did you like Monster Rancher?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not a yes or no.
You don't have to have liked it. I don't know if I liked it.
I made it very clear. I do not like Digimon at all. Can't say that enough.
Well, is the Monster Rancher related to Digimon somehow?
No.
No.
Not in an actual plot sort of way. It's
Okay.
related in the sense of it's a similar genre of children's TV.
And it's absolutely just a ripoff of a lot of the same elements. My favorite was during the commercial break when it was like, gotta unlock them all. And it was like,
there was that. But at least they had a cool rap, which, let's get into the raps. All right.
Wait, who had a cool rap? Pokemon, right? Versus this garbage rap.
No, I think that this rap was pretty cool.
What are you saying?
I am saying that this rap was pretty cool. I feel like his delivery was way more smooth and just a cool guy. I tried so hard to find who rapped this song. I could not find any information about this rapper. But he's really cool. I want to be friends with the Monster Rancher rapper. The only thing that I could find result-wise on Google for Monster Rancher rapper is that there is actually a monster in Monster Rancher called Rapper. And he raps. Doesn't look anything like a rapper. Maybe that's my prejudice showing, but
what does Rapper look like?
He kind of looked like a think about a Pokemon, sure. That kind of looks like a monk almost. Like he had like a red kind of hood. It was odd though, and it says in the description that he is an artist and a singer, and he communicates with words in a musical way. Wasn't holding a microphone or anything like that. So I have my doubts as to his street cred. But he is a monster rapper in the Monster Rancher world. So you didn't like the song?
No.
That's what you're saying. You didn't like the song.
Absolutely not.
So what was it about the song you
The
didn't like?
terrible delivery. The flat, emotionless, this guy learned the song 10 seconds before. He doesn't like it. He thinks it's dumb. And he's like, I guess I have to spit it out to get my $50. He hates that song more than I hate Digimon.
He spit the song out, but using...
No, it lazily tumbled out of his mouth.
But I'm using the word spitting as in spitting wise.
No, I know what you meant, and I corrected you.
He was spitting the rhymes right out, and it was cool. He had a cool detachment. He was detached.
Here was my actual theory, because I'll bring it back to my theory of the show. I think that the guy who invented the show plays Suezo, and that he's his grandson was like, "Oh, he's gonna be a rapper. Get him in the show." And I think that Suezo just says, I think that he thinks he was going to be animated as himself, and they later animated him as this big yellow creature. But otherwise, he thinks, yeah, I'm going to build this show. I know what kids like. It's like monsters and discs and the PlayStation. My kids are always on about the PlayStation, and I'm going to be in it.
Okay. if that theory checks out, I'm still into it because that's the kind of eccentric millionaire that I want to get behind. Is someone who would make this show. By the way,
think he's
Suezo, if you
he's
guys didn't figure out, he's the screaming eyeball with human teeth.
I think he's more of like honestly think he's more of like an elderly 100,000-aire. I would not call him a millionaire. I think he's a guy who knows somebody in the cartoon industry and was just like, I'm gonna make me into a show.
So let's get into the plot of this show, which right off the bat, it does have plot, which is a cool departure from our last episode on fighting.
What was dream and what was real?
Right off the bat, yeah, I do agree. It is inconsistent because it starts with what is concretely a dream sequence. Yes. But
is it a dream of something he did?
Exactly. That's what it is, but it's not clear that that's what it is. Do you know what I mean?
It didn't need to be a dream. So the dream is that he's in this like fantastical world,
yes.
having the. I need to look up in the chat the greatest phrase of all time, because if you watch this show. But yeah, so they're this weird, fantastical.
He's at a contest for the video game Monster Rancher, but like a different version than the real life. Well, our real life Monster Rancher. It's like an actual battling game in this.
But it's just like it's not even side scroll. It's basically like a Street Fighter where it's just like the two.
Yeah.
Like, so it's just really.
It's a fighting game.
It looks
They're
the
playing a
lamest
fighting game
you've ever seen. He's playing as like a pink one of those, but with like bat ears or whatever, fighting like a guy made out of rock.
Oh, okay. All right,
It's
this
just
actually makes
it's
sense.
just a fighting game?
Yes.
You raise it up, and then it goes head to head with other.
Okay, well that seems more fun.
You look properly upset by this. I will say that.
I didn't know that he knew so much about monsters.
Oh, but anyways, if you watch this show, you will see within the first 2 minutes of the show a grown man in front of a stadium full of kids say the word tongue slap like a bunch. Just be like, tongue slap. Oh, his patented tongue slap.
Yeah.
Ha ha, I'm 35.
So then our hero wins the match, and then he wakes
Genki?
up. Genki. His name is Genki, which, okay, to us sounds silly because we're American and English speakers.
I'm so sorry, I feel like we're not including you in this. I just want to tell you personally. Well, I just want to reiterate, his name is Genki.
Genki. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
What do you feel about that?
Genki. That sounds like something that you didn't do very well.
Yeah. You really ganked that up, didn't you?
Right.
You ganked that observation right up. layers upon layers.
Kind of Genki.
So yeah, his name is Genki, which we find out later in the episode means energy. So I guess it's not a weird name if you speak Japanese. But of course to us it does sound.
You might
like
need to phone
very
a friend
weird
if you
name.
need to call your mom later. So verify.
Oh, well.
So yeah, he wakes up. So you're thinking at this point watching the show, okay, none of that happened, because that's usually what dream sequences mean, is that they didn't happen. Because he wakes up and he's in a classroom and his teacher's very upset at him because he's just dreaming about playing a video game. And then, so the important thing in that dream sequence is at the end, and this really clued you in that it must be a dream sequence because of the way that the announcer is talking. After Genki wins the competition, he's saying all the prizes he's winning, which includes the new Monster Rancher game, hasn't even been released yet. In fact, it's still developing the software, but as soon as it's done, it's going to be sent to you. So I felt like that was a joke that they were trying to make. Yeah. Not a funny joke, but
also,
still a joke.
So it was a stadium full of thousands of kids watching the worst video game you've ever seen, which we've established actually happened. And then the kid wins the contest, and he said, your prize is a plaque in the game, not a goddamn cent. If you sold tickets at $5 a pop, they could have paid that kid's like first year of college.
Yeah.
No. You go the fuck home with a plaque, kid.
Who produced that show? Afton? Oh, he's going for the throats now.
Oh, yeah.
Local music reference.
I think that was I really think that was that this show might be like propaganda, because I also noticed the weirdly long establishing shots of the city, but there's always, it's like, I swear to God, it felt like a 10-second shot just continuously swiping over this endless like just like industrial city. And I think it was sort of this moment of like, that's right, America. Like, why don't you come play with the big boys sometime? Like it was like a long, but every time they would do an establishing shot, it was never just like a still frame. It was a lot of motion of like, look at all these fucking buildings. We built that.
So he is, running home after school. Like as soon as school gets out, he runs home. And then waiting in the mail for him is that game. So then you're kind of clued in that, okay, so that did happen, but he was dreaming about it happening again. Doesn't matter. He runs into his room, puts the game in the PlayStation, not specifically PlayStation, but we all know it's a PlayStation. And he starts playing. And very quickly in the game, it switches over to what's happening in that world.
Which is a woman and a creature being chased by the most inept, terrifying-looking dinosaurs you've ever seen in your life. Black dinos are 12 feet tall, ripped. They're just dinosaurs.
Yeah, they're
and
dinosaurs.
they fucking can't catch these kids.
Yeah.
If their lives depend on it, which they do, because they die at the end. A building falls on them.
Yeah. So they're chasing after Suezo and the gal whose name escapes me. What's that? Holly. Her name is Holly. Thank you, Stephen. So they're running with a mystery disc, which fans of the game know that's the source of the monsters. Is that you have these mystery discs which date back millions of years or something like that, and then they put them in this thing. It's like a ceremony.
And on the sixth day, God made discs. We know.
Yeah, clearly. So anyway, you can kind of contextualize that they have stolen a mystery disc and they're on the run, and the black dinos are trying to get that disc back.
And they think it's the Phoenix who will bring order to the Force.
Exactly. Essentially, yes.
The Force?
The Phoenix.
Just doing a bit.
Okay, all right.
That checks out. So they get into what like the ceremony hall or something, and they get the disc down, and coinciding with that is Genki in his apartment room, and he's playing the game, and somehow the two combine and they get Genki into their world. He gets sucked into the game.
We didn't talk enough about Genki's mom. She seemed like a delight.
Yeah.
She made sweet cakes for him.
Yeah.
Also, her voice sounded older. I got the impression she was like an older mom, maybe like a late life baby.
Probably.
And like maybe single. I don't know. I'm just putting a lot of, I was like, where's that story? Like, kid came in, we never saw the mom. It was a lot of, I don't know. I really empathized with her. I thought we were going to see more. Didn't happen. And then her son disappears. Go on.
So at this point, I'd like to take a little pause and just put this to Stephen. At this point in the story, where was your head at? Were you thinking, should I have said yes to this show? Is this going to be something riff-worthy? What were you thinking at this point?
I was thinking about like how much of this am I actually gonna remember 5 minutes from now?
Because
Especially
you're buzzed
in your
driving,
buzzed condition.
watching it on your phone?
Yeah, I mean that was certainly a concern. And then just like I was like,
I just want to say I'm glad you were concerned. Go on.
yeah. But yeah, I
Favorite
mean, I was
guest.
watching it in the car while I was being driven here, and then I was like, I just watched this. Like, am I really gonna have time to think about what I just saw?
Yeah.
And
And the answer was no, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the dinosaurs and the PlayStation and stuff like that, but I mean, you guys are adding a lot more to it. I'm like, oh, I see.
If you feel
know.
like we're stealing all the time and you want more, you could just talk about stuff in your life. Like, how's your home remodeling going? Like, that's like
Yeah.
a whole thing. Yeah, you could always just chime in with that if you need more stage time.
I mean,
Don't feel
why,
bad.
Why not? Well, I didn't really work on it that much today. I did a little bit because I was helping him with the fence.
Yeah.
I have a cabinet in my hallway, and by the way, I mean I started on this. It's not really a remodel as so much as a makeover. It's like,
What's the difference?
What is the
well, because I think of a remodel more as like taking
To
down
the guts.
walls.
Like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm changing like trim.
Mm-hmm.
And I ripped out some of the floor and replaced some of the floor. The most remodel thing I did was the fireplace.
Looks good. I've
Oh,
seen it.
Thanks. Yeah. And all I really did, I mean, apart from a repair, which involved removing like a third of the bricks that were on the fireplace and then putting them back because there was dry rot behind them.
Oh no.
So I had to take the bricks off to get to
You
the
had
dry
to.
rot. Yeah.
If you got sucked into this video game world,
Yeah.
do you feel like you can make it? You've got a lot of like practical experience with like you could probably like invent, machines or something back then. Get a car off the ground, make a mint. They have currency in that world. They have clothes. You gotta buy it somehow.
I don't know. Like I feel like I'm pretty good at like jamming keys on console games and winning. Cause like I played a fighting game one time with this guy who, I mean, he was like a total gamer, and I hardly ever game, and I just jammed the keys and I kept on beating him, and he was getting pretty upset.
They usually do. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and this guy, like, I had gone to LAN parties with this guy before, and we played like World. Did we play? No, we played Warcraft 3 and StarCraft. Maybe no, I think it was Warcraft 3, and it was not a game that I was good at, and I was only good at Quake 3, and so they played Warcraft 3, and it was like a team game, so like I was on his team. And I was not doing well. I think he felt like I was holding back the team.
Mm-hmm.
And he got pissed, and he came over, and he unplugged my computer.
Oh, dick move.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That is
Dick
such a dick move.
I know. But I mean,
This reminded me, like, this show does remind me a lot of, like, obviously childhood and, like, watching. I miss, like, because I like to, like, yeah, like, we all do things that, like, maybe, like, we sometimes go out of step and we're mean sometimes. We usually, I like to think we're all adults here. We regret it. Like, anytime if I do something, if I feel like it's mean, usually to Joe. I love you, Joe. But I'll say mean things to you sometimes, and then I'll be like, yeah, I shouldn't say mean things to Joe. I think this morning I texted you, you're alone because you don't deserve love. That's a text I sent. But I do miss, like, youthful dickishness of, like, pulling games out of consoles or, like, kicking kids out of your house. Like, I never did that, but I love the idea of, like, I don't know, you don't get that in your... When's the next time like, if you get in a fight with a friend, like, if we go to a friend's house, they're not going to be like, get out of my house and, like, rip a game out of the thing. Like, that's not going to happen.
Right.
I miss that. Those days are dead.
I don't miss that.
they're
I don't
not
know.
totally dead. I mean, people still come over.
I'll fuck
Sometimes-
up a 64. I'll pull
Sometimes
it right
people that
out.
live in your house, like, let their dog pee all over your carpet and stuff like that.
Yeah, it happens. It happens, as you know.
Probably know what I'm talking about. But
So Genki comes into this world
Unfazed.
unfazed. In fact, the opposite. He is phased. He is very thrilled because he had also dreamed about going to that world previously. So now he's like, I'm actually here. They being Suezo and Holly, are very upset that he is not the Phoenix. He is just some kid.
We don't know yet if he's the chosen one.
He's probably going to be some form of a chosen one. I didn't get that far in the series ever, so I don't know. But I do know that they're very upset that he's there because it just threw a whole cog in their plan, and they just need to run immediately. So that's what they do. They just
Thank God he
escape.
brought his rollerblades.
Exactly.
Because nothing beats nothing says I can outrun dinosaurs like skating on grass.
Yes. And crumbling boulders. So, and here is where we arrive at my first real problem with this show.
Not the rap?
Honestly, no. And I can get behind pretty much everything else in this show up to this point. It's this glaring inconsistency, which is it is established he is an award-winning gamer, and yet he is also somehow extremely athletic. Those two don't add up.
No, but
You
he's
can't
young.
have
You
both.
can't. Yeah, you can.
No, not to this extent. Not to the extent that he is winning competitions and he is also a parkour master.
He's not a
But-
parkour master.
Yes, he
Isn't
is.
that just in the dream?
Yes, he
though?
is. No, because this is in when he's actually in the world too. He is hopping from crumbling stalactite or stalagmite. I'm not going to Google it. To the next.
Oh, that actually
back
led to
in-
my favorite part of the episode.
That's absurd.
No,
like
not
the,
that.
the,
But
those
when
hopping, and then this is fast forwarding a little bit, but just to further prove my point of his athleticism, when they do finally rest and they're upset just by the fire, just like grumbling, like what are we gonna do now? And he climbs the tree and does like the splits on the two branches.
you know what
No,
I think?
parkour master.
I think what it is though is I think the gravity is less there. I think that's what it is.
You are reaching, sir.
I think the gravity
You
is
are
like
reaching
5%
right now.
less, and
No.
he's just like unburdened.
I refuse to.
Also, my favorite part of the episode, I won't lie, and I was so excited when they kept the bit going, was when Suezo like hit his fucking head and like knocked himself out and then just rolled the rest of
Yeah,
the way.
that was pretty great.
But like looked, and the whole time it kept cutting him like, "Ugh," like he was so upset that he couldn't get his feet or his foot. Or his
and
flap.
early on, like when
Tongue
we're
whip.
first introduced to him, and he's running alongside Holly. Well, not running, and he even I don't remember exactly what he says, but he acknowledges, I don't have legs, basically. Like he's trailing behind her, and then he's also later trailing behind Genki and Holly because Holly's on his back because he has the rollerblades, and they're just trusting that Suezo will be able to follow. They're just kind of like, you're on your own, Suezo. I feel like I said Suezo a lot, and I'm into it.
Well, wait, which one is the champion gamer, Suezo or Genki?
Genki's the kid.
Right.
You can think of it like that. He's the kid.
I think that maybe it's kind of like his body, because you're playing the game and it's like your mind is doing.
Okay, so we got to pause there then, because
He's in the game.
there is some couple misconceptions here.
Right.
So he's not in the game; he's in the other world. So he's not playing this game.
Well, yeah, but see what I'm saying is he's a champion gamer. He games a lot.
Okay.
And you're arguing that because of that, he doesn't have the physical conditioning to be able to do the things.
You're
that
thinking
he's doing.
that one translates to the other?
In a sense, yeah, because his
gotta
mind
disagree
is
strongly.
like his mind is like, okay, we're doing these things. It's real to his mind, and so then it's like his body is conditioning itself, even though it's not actually doing the thing.
I feel like this is an argument that many a neckbeard has tried to give.
No, you know what? I just think
For the whole, it's still my motor skills, like that bullshit. It's just not true.
You know,
I'm sorry.
you know what my
true.
counter to that argument is what's his name? Do you remember Hans from high school?
Yes.
His brother, that skinny little whip of a boy, he was 10 pounds if he was an ounce, and he was that kid was like weirdly like strong and athletic, but all he did was play video games. Like that kid, I think it's when you're I think puberty kills us. I think that's the problem. And I think when you're still like just a weird, rubbery little kid who doesn't know how the world works, and like you could be great at video games if you grow up with them, but you're still like a kid, and you could like throw him through a brick wall, and he's like, I'm fine. Like,
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Perhaps.
I think, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't the hill I'm going to die on.
Yeah.
Put it that way. Certainly not in Monster. If there was a Monster Rancher hill to die on, it is that the rap is a legitimate banger.
It's terrible. Do you ever think every time you say this isn't the hill I'm going to die on, all you're doing is setting yourself up to die on a different hill, like physically
Well,
die on a
eventually.
different
We
hill?
all got to die on a hill.
Yeah. No, but like you're walking a hill, you trip, you fall right into a knife.
Well, I also
One of those hill knives.
I avoid hills at all cost in general. Look at me. So I think where we last covered they were at was him up in the tree. They've found a bit of a resting spot, and then shortly thereafter the black dinos come back. Right? Isn't that the next step?
Yeah, and the plot of this episode, really quick. I cannot believe that this was what the plot was. They get into the temple. He accidentally gets summoned to the temple. They have to escape. And then once they get away, they're like, oh, shit, we got to go back. All they do is outrun these just
it's because
of these dinosaurs. Like,
yes.
None of us could make it fucking 10 feet away from these things without it ripping the doors off our car and eating us and everything we've ever known. But these three, one of whom only has a stump he jumps on, escape these dinosaurs 3 different times. It's insane. And then the dinosaurs die as they deserve to do.
They're saving the world, though. I think that that's the important factor that compels them to do the unthinkable. So in their resting time, Genki brings out his disc. And that's what propels the plot along, is that he says, oh, I got this. And they're like, oh, my God, that's like a mystery disc. So that's what brings them back to the temple. And at first they get there uninhibited, by the black dinos, and they put in the disc in the spot, and they do the whole thingy. It seems like it's a computer because she's beeping and bopping stuff.
Yeah, it's a stone computer.
It's a stone
the
computer.
Fire is like
because
powered
this
by the
I
thing.
perhaps exists in the Flintstones universe.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work. Basically, it's a dud. It's not happening.
But then he imbues it with the heart of the cards. And
Essentially,
then he's able to do it.
he kind of does, yeah. Because the black dinos do crash the party, and then he attempts it again. This time, concentrating as hard as he can, and lo and behold, he does make a monster, but not the phoenix. He does not make a phoenix. He makes this strange little cute penguin thing, which I love. I love this design so
Mochi's
much.
great.
It's fantastic.
But it plays by Pokemon rules. It only says Mochi.
No, it does
no,
not.
it says Mochi hungry or something.
Yeah,
like
it says simple words.
But
it
mostly,
just doesn't speak
mostly
well.
it said Chi, Mochi. It mostly said Mochi over and over, and it took them like a whole...
An entire scene.
An entire scene to
in
figure
which
out what to
they
call it.
they're trying to figure out, and I think this is supposed to be played for laughs, not funny, but I think that's the intention.
Do you remember Suezo's name choice?
No, I don't.
They were trying to think of what to name
They
this
were all
creature.
bad, though.
And Holly was just like, oh, like, you know, like...
Pinky. She kept trying to say, like, call him Pinky.
And Suezo's was civilian. Again, that's when I was like, this character is 65 years old, and he invented the show.
But then, and this frustrated me, the Mochi is saying his name the entire time.
Yes!
Right? He's saying his name, and then Genki has a thought, like it goes like to him, because he remembers that his mom made some little sweet cakes for him that kind of looked like mochi.
It looked amazing.
Yeah,
I wanted
it
to
looked
eat one of
tasty.
those so bad.
And then he said, I remember, or not even I remember, just like, I got it. Sweet cakes. I'll call you Mochi. And Mochi should have been pissed. Because it's just like, I've been saying.
Obviously.
I've been saying. But instead, he's elated. He's so happy that he got the name right, finally. Because the whole time that they're volunteering names, Mochi is pissed. And he's like, Mochi! 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 Anyway, so then they move on. And Mochi kind of tries to fight. But he
sucks at
he's
fighting.
He's little. He literally just existed. So
some things are too cute to fight. Like, let's just like that. He doesn't.
I don't know. Togepi was a badass, right? Solemn moment. Did someone say what for Togepi?
But Togepi, no.
That was a weird reaction.
Togepi wasn't very.
As if they were following along with all of this perfectly up to that point.
Togetic
Wait a
was-
minute.
was it-
Togepi is not
it-
in Monster
Was it
Rancher.
Togetic or Togetic? But Togetic was the badass.
I have no idea. I just remember that Togepi would
Togepi's
occasionally.
a little bitch, and
No,
I
he
can
would
fight him
occasion-
right now.
Yeah, Togepi from Pokemon, he would occasionally have those moments where the power would come out, and this is not I Love Pokemon. So
I'm so excited to never do the first episode of Pokemon.
oh yeah, I don't ever want to do Pokemon. It's been
Can we just
covered
go back
death.
to fighting Foodons? I love that show.
Yeah, we'll do it eventually.
Yeah, let's just
So
do
anyway,
it.
who does manage to win this fight is Genki. He's like kicking the shit
as
out of the
established,
dinosaurs.
he put his rollerblades on.
He
He
put his
knows how to
rollerblades.
fight a fucking dinosaur.
And he does like a flying drop kick, and he basically takes out all the dinosaurs, and it's then just assumed. Well, not just assumed. He literally says, like, it's basically the last line of the episode, and my adventure begins. And that's what the show is them trying to recover the discs. Oh yeah, because Holly explains that this evil, basically Emperor Mu, has been that's his name, M-O-O. He's been taking the mystery discs and turning them not into evil monsters. Evil discs? No, not even that. Baddies. As opposed to goodies.
Oh yeah, she seems
Very
so,
uninventive.
I was so taken like so. Suezo is again 70 if he's a day, but Holly is like also like she seems like if Genki's like 12, she's like 14. Like they're not.
Yeah,
Because
I mean,
she's not smart. She makes some really fucking idiotic decisions that like are very childlike
That wasn't
decisions.
the vibe I got from her. I actually felt like she
I
was more
don't trust
intelligent than
anything
that.
you say anymore.
Honestly, I feel like she's shooting from the hip, so that's gonna have some mistakes that go along with it. But again, they're trying to save
But no,
the
it was.
world.
But she's also saying, but the things like baddies and stuff, like she just seems so.
That's
wildly
the
youthful.
established nomenclature, man. Get off her back.
I have a strong feeling we're gonna go see the next episode. These other guys like, yeah, evil monsters. And she's like, yeah, the baddies. And you're like, what are you fucking doing?
So, parting thoughts. What would you ever watch this again, Stephen?
Sure, yeah, you know.
Of your own free will.
Yeah, of your own volition.
I don't know. I guess if it was on Netflix and I saw it on there,
It's on YouTube.
It's on
and-
Amazon.
Yeah, I
It's on
know,
Verve.
but it's like when I sit down, I'm gonna watch something. I'll just pull
Crunchyroll.
up, either use my Netflix disc because I still get the DVDs.
You still get the DVDs.
Oh
I
my
do.
God, that was. I've seen it. I remember I went to your house that one time, and you had and I almost shit myself. I couldn't believe it. I didn't know they still did it.
Yeah,
To be
they
fair,
do
he
it.
also just shits himself a lot.
I do.
though.
Yeah.
So
really?
it was somewhat unrelated.
I got the O in Ohio right now.
Yeah.
You got what?
The O in Ohio. It's a movie about people having orgasms in Ohio.
What?
I think Elizabeth, what's her name? No. Banks. Elizabeth Banks
Okay.
is married to who? She's married to somebody, and he's like, I think he's having an affair with somebody else, and so she feels neglected, and she starts playing with herself. And
So it's
Danny-
not a documentary.
No, it's not.
I was thinking this was like a hard-hitting expose.
Oh,
No,
it's
I
in
haven't
Ohio.
watched it yet. I read the synopsis,
Uh-huh.
and Danny DeVito is in it.
Oh fuck! You know that guy's Owen in Ohio.
Yeah.
That guy's Owen everywhere he goes. Here's my parting thought. I'll say this. Don't watch Digimon, but please do watch on Netflix the greatest thing I've ever seen in my entire life, which is Casting John Bonet. It is a documentary about casting people to play John Bonet Ramsey and the family in a made-for-TV movie. No, you guys, within the first 5 minutes, you'll be like, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. Casting John Bonet.
Damn.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
thank you
heavy.
guys so much for coming out to Must Love Casting John Bonet.
Yeah.
It means so much of us to all of us that you'd be here. Thank you so much. I'm sorry we don't have time to do Steven's Corner because we had. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly
You got too
why,
much, Steve.
honestly. But thank you so much, Stephen Ferris, for coming out tonight. Let's hear it again for Stephen Ferris.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And absolutely come and see the Tonight play sometime. It's his incredible monthly show he
Awesome.
does here
We're
at
doing that.
Stab
that-
Comedy Theater.
That's every other month.
Oh, it's every other month now. Okay, gotcha. Or
We're doing
just
the
always
Apple
has
Tree
been.
comedy competition this month.
Oh, excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
That's
We should
fantastic.
do gargoyles next.
Perhaps, you know.
I'm getting some- I'm hearing some
see,
fucking
we'll,
noise from
we'll
the
see what's
crowd.
up. We'll see what's up. Okay. I think we want to go weird, but that one has some weirdness for sure. That's
Go
our
weird. Have you seen it? Have you seen it
yeah.
recently?
I watched it a lot.
Yeah, that is the
watched
weirdest
it
of
a
the
lot.
shows.
All right. Well, that's our show, folks. Have a wonderful night. Bye bye.
Yeah.
Okay.